All right, Shabbosai, good morning. Good morning. Let us begin by thanking all of our sponsors for this morning. Share to thank our Talmud Torah sponsors for the year of Tavshin Pei 5785, the Tilsim Mishpach of Eretz Yisrael, for dedicating all the Sherman Drashos this year as a Zechus for Besaros Tavos for Am Yisrael. Our Talmud Torah sponsors for the month of Cheshvan, Stephen Terry Zinn, in honor of the birth of their granddaughter Devora Eliana Zinn, and creation of the yahrzeit of Dr. Zinn's father, Bunim Tzvi Ben Chaim Zichron Livracha. Shmuel Rabin Krabkin, Schus Refuah Shlema for Rabin's cousin serving in the IDF, Binyamin Chaim Pesach Ben Moshe Chana, and creation of the yahrzeit of Rabin's mother, Pesa Mira Bas Chaim. Dr. Moshe and Ellen Gevant, in memory of Dr. Gevant's parents, Yaakov Meir Ben Moshe Leib, and Shena Bas Abba, Dr. Bezad, and Yamina Saufer. In the Schus Refuah Shlema for Esther Bracha Bas Chayo. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, all of the Neshama Slav and Aliyah, the families in Nechama, all those in the Refuah, should have one together with Kol Cholei Yisrael. Kadosh Baruch Hu should merit Hashem, bring home our hostages b'shalom and b'karov, and allow our holy soldiers to be successful. B'chol ma'asei yedehem. So with that, let us begin. A lot to do today. A really great daf ahead of us today. Today's daf is Kuf Nun Gimel 153. We are picking up Emirat Hashem on Kuf Nun Beis Amud Beis. Right? No. Kuf Nun. I'm so not used to ever starting on the right daf. Okay, yes. So we are starting on Kuf Nun Gimel Amud Aleph 153a, and we are picking up Emirat Hashem. 5 lines down from the top. Last word on the line. Hahi. Okay, now 6 lines down. Here we go. 1 second. Okay, so Gemara tells us, Hahi matnasa da havikasa ba mechaim b'chaim ubemaves. So it's a very interesting case over here. So again, Shchimira goes ahead and conveys over ownership of property, and in the document he writes, so you can imagine, he says, Shchimira, I convey ownership to Ruvain b'chaim ubemaves, which literally means in life and in death. So the shaila is, of course, what exactly does this mean? B'chaim ubemaves. Take a look at the Rashbam for just a moment. The Rashbam says, it's the first of the intermediate lines. Hu matnasa matna shchimira b'miktsas shekasa b'kinyan v'kol l'divrei hakol be'amal amar. So let's leave aside the Rashbam. The Rashbam is getting into this partial gift, whole gift. We actually don't need to step into that right now. But the point over here is matna shchimira, and he's conveying the gift, and the shtar itself has the lashon. I'm giving over this gift b'chaim ubemaves, in death and in life. Now, so obviously, this is part of the ongoing motif of the cases that we've seen, which is that contradictory lashonos in terms of what type of gift is being given. So is this a matnas bari? Is this a healthy person's gift? Is this a matnas shchimira? What exactly is the mechanic? What are the mechanics of this gift, given the contradictory lashonos? So once again, machlokes. Rav Amar harehi kematnas shchimira, u'Shmuel Amar harehi kematnas bari. So Rav says this is a matnas shchimira. Shmuel says it's a healthy person's gift. Now, both say, before we go on, so again, remember, we always understand wherein lies the fundamental distinction between being a matnas shchimira and a matnas bari. What's the fundamental distinction? If the individual, if the shchimira recovers, what happens with the gift? If it's a matnas shchimira, then the gift is voided, because every matnas shchimira is essentially a gift with a tanai. If it's a matnas bari, then the gift stands, because a matnas bari is just a regular gift, and which stands no matter what the circumstances. Okay, so now let's analyze both of these. So Rav Amar Harei matnas shchimira. So Rav says this is considered to be like the gift of a shchimira midichsiv ba b'maves. So Rav says it's simple. Remember again, I will say, what does the Shchimira say? The Shchimira says, this is your gift when I die. B'maves. So again, any gift that hinges the full receiving of the gift with death, by definition is a matnas shchimira. Okay, what about the v'chaim? What about that it says v'chaim? What do you do with that? What do you do with that phrase? To which the Gemara answers, simin ba'alma dechaye. it's a siman ba'alma. Now, what does it mean, a siman ba'alma? If you take a look at the Rashbam says over here, it's in the intermediate lines, about 3 lines from before it gets wide. First, Rav Amar Hari Kimat Shchimira, Lemikni La'achar Misa, Bim Amad Choser, the Kol Shekin Matna Shchimira. Fine. So, Asimna L'chaim, the Rashbam says, Kilomar, Bimaves Dafkahu, Umichaim Lav Dafka, Ela L'simin Tov. So listen to this. So when the Shchimira writes, so according to Rav, he's writing Maves. B'misa. So B'misa makes it a matna shchimira. What about the fact that he also writes, this is your gift not only in death but also in life? Why does he include that phrase in life? If this is a matna shchimira, so look what the Rashbam says. L'fi shehizkir misaso shelo rotza liftoach piv l'satan. Kilomar hamakom yatzileni michol izeh v'lo yamos. So listen to how beautiful this is. So the Shchimira is saying, really, according to Rav, this is a matna shchimira. What makes it a matna shchimira? What makes a matna shchimira? What makes a matna shchimira is the fact that it says b'maves, in death. So why does he also include mechaim, from life? It's like al tiftach pela satan. So which means what? Like kind of like, don't give yourself an ayin hara. You're shchimira, right? You're shchimira, and you're writing that this gift is chal when you die. But lemaisa still al tiftach pela satan. Don't open your mouth to the satan. We saw this concept. Don't go ahead and bring and almost like unnecessarily bring about terrible things upon yourself. So therefore he goes ahead and he says b'chaim. Mechaim, also to teach us, Hashem should save me from this illness, and I should not die. I should not die. So this is a very, very profound idea. We'll come back to this in just. Actually, let's do it right now. So what's interesting about this is as follows. So first of all, what do you see from here? What you see from here is the profound and deep wellspring of Jewish hope. That even though this guy is a shchimira, right? He's on his deathbed. He's making a deathbed gift. Yet nothing is stronger than the optimism and then the hope of a Jew, who even when he is a shchimira is engaging in an anticipatory tefillah of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, save me from this illness. What's interesting to note, however, is this concept of al tiftach pela satan. So it's almost as much as the Shchimira is saying that this is my gift to you when I die, in the next breath he says, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu should save me from this illness. So I saw something incredibly beautiful quoted in the name of the Mariel Diskin. So the Mariel Diskin says as follows. He asks a question on this. He says, so you see from here that you're not supposed to say something that is fully negative, so to speak. So in other words, even though the Shchimira is saying, this is your gift when I die, he's supposed to kind of like buffer that a little bit by saying, B'chaim, right? B'chaim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu should save me from this illness. So the Mariel Diskin asks a fascinating question. He says, if you look, a couple of parashas in Parashas Vayechi, Yaakov Avinu says, Vayomer Yisrael al Yosef, Amusa hapam, acharei ra'osi es panecha, ki otcha chai. So Yaakov Avinu, again remember, after being separated from Yosef for over 2 decades, sees Yosef, finds out that Yosef is not only alive, but he's thriving as viceroy of Egypt. And Yaakov Avinu, when literally again locked in an embrace with Yosef, says, I can die now. After I've seen you and you're still alive, I can die now. So asks the Mariel Diskin something so fascinating. He says, I don't understand. Eich omer Yaakov alatzmo kiyamos v'harei klal nokut biadenu li'olam al yiftach adam piv l'satan. Incredible. So Mariel Diskin says, what's going on over here? How can Yaakov Avinu say, okay, I'm ready to die. I'm ready to die now. The Rashbam teaches us, al tiftach pela satan. Again, you could say, I'm ready to die now, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu will give me many years of life. Kind of like the same lashon over here, according to Rav, B'chaim u'b'maves, right? B'chaim u'b'maves. What's going on over by Yaakov Avinu? Great kasha. Listen to what he says. This is so beautiful. He says, Shiakov amar davar zeh biyosa asuk b'mitzas kriyashma u'kimo shehevi Rashi ala pasuk hakodim she'amru Chazal she'kori eshma u'b'mitzvah zeh shahaya asuk ba haya medaber. So I say, listen to this. So remember, the Mariel quotes the famous idea of Rashi that at the moment that Yaakov Avinu had met Yosef, he was engaged in the mitzvah of Shema. engaged in the mitzvah of Shema. He was saying Shema. Now listen to this. He says, "Shahari mechelke hamitzvah lechavein ba'amiras bechol nafshecha limsor nafsho al kedushas Hashem v'Yakov lahaya yachal lechavein davar zeh b'shleimus hagimura ki hari hakadosh baruch hu evtichu sheyamid yud beis shvatim ve'eich yimsor nafsho kasher chaser lo shevet echad ba'asher Yosef ne'edar ve'en yodei Yaakov ma'imo." Both say this is wild. I know it's going to take us a few moments, but it's absolutely worth it. Listen to this. Yaakov Avinu understood that in Kriyas Shema, there's a mitzvah of V'ahavtas Hashem Elokecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha. To love Hashem with all of your heart. We did this in Amud Yomi not so long ago. What does it mean to love Hashem with all of your heart? A willingness to give your life to Hashem. To give up your life for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. What's the problem? Yaakov Avinu wasn't able to mekayim it. Why not? Because at the end of the day, HaKadosh Baruch Hu had made him a promise that he was going to establish 12 tribes. All the years that Yosef was gone, Yosef was missing, Yaakov Avinu felt that he had not fulfilled that destiny. Because of that, he was unwilling or really unable to give his life to Hashem because his mission had not been accomplished. Says the Mariel, the moment he went ahead and he saw Yosef, Achein, Kevan Shara'u Yosef Nimsa Kvar Hemed Yud Beis Shvatim Kayomim. When he saw Yosef, and Yosef was alive, that represented that what? His life's work was complete. He had established 12 Shvatim. And the moment that he saw that his life's work was complete, Miyad Omar Amusa Hapam. Hineni yochol lechavein lamos v'limsor nafshi al kiddush shmo yisparach b'shleimus hagimura. The moment that he saw that Yosef was alive, he realized he had fulfilled his destiny of establishing 12 tribes. And the moment that he had finished, he had fulfilled his destiny, he was able to say with complete conviction, Amusa apam, I'm ready to go. I've completed my life's work. I'm ready to take leave of this world. And he did not have to buffer that statement with something positive, because it wasn't an al tiftach pelasat. Yaakov Avinu said literally, I'm ready to go. Kosh Baruch Hu, you can take me now. You can take me now. My life's work is complete. Yosef is alive. 12 Shvatim have been created. Amusa pam. I'm done. Both say incredible. Incredible, absolutely incredible, dramatic vart. But to me, what's so incredibly beautiful about this, we'll say, is imagine reaching a level in life where you feel like your life's work is complete. Right? That's the avodah. Imagine reaching a darga in olam hazeh, in this world, where you say, Ribono shel olam, I feel like everything you put me on this world to accomplish, I have done. Yaakov Avinu reached that moment. And interestingly enough, it appears that maybe Yaakov Avinu was the only one to reach that moment, right? You never see a similar statement by Avram Avinu or a similar statement by Yitzchak Avinu. Yaakov is the only one who is able to say the words, Amusa apam. I'm ready to leave this world now because I feel that literally I have reached my life, I've accomplished my life mission. And because of that, my time on this world is over. Take me now. And I'll say, Halavai, that's what we aspire to. This is what we yearn to reach. This is what we yearn to accomplish. To reach a level of existence in this world where I'm ready to say, Ribono shel olam, I've done it all. I've accomplished it all. Amusa pam. Yaakov Avinu said, there's only one last thing that I've never done. B'chol nafshecha. I've never given my life for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's one last mitzvah. Now at this point in my life, I'm ready to accomplish. I'm ready to do this, give this last piece of giving myself to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Incredible. So we'll say, so again, so back to the Gemara. So now, just a fantastic, and all coming, by the way, the Mariel's entire kasha is motivated by this Rashbam. Right? The Rashbam, according to Rav, says, Al tiftach pelas satan. That's why the Shchiv Me'ira, when he gives the gift, he says, B'chaim u'b'maves. Really, it's a deathbed gift. So why are you including Chaim? Why are you including anything about life? Al tiftach pelas satan. You always have to hold on. So it's two lessons. Number one, the beautiful Vart in Vayechi, right? About to live a life where you feel ready, Amusa Pam, I'm ready to go because I've done everything. And also lesson number two, the power of hope. Like the Gemara Maseches Brachas says, "Afilu cherev chada munachas al tzavaro shel adam aymanes asal v'rachamim." Even if a sharp sword is against your neck, never despair of hope. Never give up hope. Never give up hope. You're shchiv mira. Still daven for the possibility that there's going to be a refuah shalema. Incredible. That was all Rav. And it's only Monday. Shmuel says. Shmuel says, on the other hand, that Lamaisa, again, this gift is like a healthy person's gift, and therefore halacha Lamaisa, it stands no matter what happens to the shchimira. Now, what's the pshat with that? Midichsiv ba b'chaim. Mechayim kamar. Because Shmuel's logic is like this. No, this is like a regular healthy person's gift. Why? Because again, what's written inside of the document? B'chaim, right? Lifetime. This is my gift during my lifetime. So Mechaim Kamar, so but why does he include anything about death in this? So Kiman Damar Me'ata Vi'ad Olam. Ultimately, again, it's more like an expression. When a person says that this is, I'm gifting this to you, B'chaim U'b'maves, that's like an expression of forever. Forever. So I'll say, so fundamental machlokes, Rav and Shmuel. One more time, the case is, Shchimira writes a gift to Ruvain, and in the gift, in the document, he says, this is the gift I'm giving you, B'chaim u'b'mabes, in life and in death. Rav says, mention of death makes it a matnas shchimira. The only reason why life is mentioned, ultimately, again, is a form of anticipatory hope that he's going to somehow have a refuah shalema. Shmuel says, no, the mention of B'chaim, life, makes this a regular matnas bari, and the only reason why death is mentioned is to represent the eternality of this gift. Okay. Amrin Ardoi. So then Ardoi said, Hilchasa kavase derav. The halacha is like this, like Rav. Namely, this is a matnas shchiv mira, and halacha lamaisa. Again, the mention of life was only there, almost like as an anticipatory desire for a refuah shalema. Okay, Amar Rava. So Rava says something interesting. Amar Rava iksiv ba mechayim kana. Now Rav says something very interesting. Rav says the halacha lamaisa. What if it didn't say bichayim, but instead it said mechayim? Supposed to hear the distinction. So bichayim means in life, mechayim means from life. From life. So Rava says mechayim is different than bichayim, and mechayim ultimately makes it into a matnas bari. If you take a look in the widest lines in the Rashbam, second line in mechayim kana, temashma dafka me'ata hischil. Liknos. So also here's what's interesting. So if you remember again, going back for just a moment, we keep on revisiting certain core concepts. When does a matnas shchimera actually take effect? When does it take effect? When he dies. Right, that's how the Shechimera works. In other words, the gift is being given now, the mechanics are being created now, but Lamaisa, again, the gift itself doesn't really take effect until the Shechimera passes away. Now, what Rava points out over here is as follows. If the Shechimera uses lashon of Mechayim, Mechayim means the gift is chal now. Now, mechayim, from the time, from when I'm alive. There's just seen in life, right? Bechayim, in life, and mechayim, like from life. From life, the Gemara seems to understand means that lamaisa, again, Lamaisa, the gift takes effect right now. So the Gemara says, Amar says, less hilchas hakavase de Rava. Amimar says the halacha does not follow Rava. So Amar lei, Ravashi lamim. Ravashi says, Pshita, that's obvious. The Amrin Ardoi, hilchas hakavase de Rav. We just got finished saying that the halacha follows Rav. Namely, Rabbi said that even when you have a gift that has this expression of both bechayim ubemaves, it is considered to be a deathbed gift. So obviously the halacha doesn't follow Rav, who says that Mechayim makes it a lifetime gift. I says, what would you have thought? Mechayim Modi Rav. You might have thought that when it says Mechayim, maybe even Rav agrees in that case. In other words, we'll say maybe even Rav agrees that Mechayim is stronger than what? Stronger than Bechayim. Kamash Malo, no. Kamash will say that essentially, according to Rav, as long as this gift has some mention of death, what does that do? Matnas Shchibira. That's it, nothing more to talk about. Okay, so this concludes our first topic for today, right? The first leg of our Talmudic journey for this beautiful Monday morning, which is that halacha l'maisa, if you have a matana, and the matana has both an expression of life and death, b'chaim u b'maves, and also you can see someone like colloquially using that expression. This is your gift, b'chaim maves, in life and death. What do you do with such a gift like that? So Rav matnas shchivmira, because it says b'maves. Only reason it says b'chaim is that's like a tefillah for the refuah shlema. Shmuel says no, because it has an expression ultimately again of life that makes it a matnas bari, and the only reason it mentions death is to highlight the eternality of the gift. How do we paskin? The Rambam paskins, the Nardoim paskin, the Rambam paskins like Rav. That halacha l'maisa, we treat this like a matnas shchimira. Any time that the gift document, the daitiki, the deathbed will, has an expression of death, again, remember, I just want to point out, this is dafkan shchimira, right? If a regular person, right? Ruvain is just a regular guy, healthy, fantastic, and he writes a gift. He writes a document, and in that document he says, Shimon, I'm gifting you this property, b'chayim u b'maves, then obviously that's just a regular gift. Everything is about context. Remember, who's writing this gift? Who's writing the gift? A shchivmira. So again, Rav says whenever a shchivmira writes a gift and he's going ahead and he's mentioning death, that is a matnas shchivmira. What about b'chaim? That's an anticipatory desire, anticipatory tefillah for refuah shalema. That's how you pass it about say. So b'chaim u'maves is a matnas shchivmira. Good. Next, hahu. Hahu the asa likamei. I'm sorry. Hahu the asa likamei Rav Nachman ben Arda. So listen to this. So there was a situation like this that came up before Rav Nachman in Narda. If you take a look at the Rashbam, so again the Rashbam is about 4 lines into the wide lines. Hahu the asa likamei Rav Nachman to have a kasav b'shtar didei b'chaim u'b'maves. So we'll say so a case like this came up. Right, Rav Nachman was in Narda, so like a case like this came up where Shchimera wrote a gift, and in the gift document they said b'chayim u'b'maves. They came to Rav Nachman because it's Rav Nachman. Is this a matnas bari or is this a matnas Shchimera? And I both say to yourself, what's the case that is coming to a bezin? Very simple. I will say, what's the case? The case ultimately again would be where the Shchimera recovers. So the Shchivmira is claiming that this was a matnas Shchivmira, and because he recovered, he's taking his property, quote unquote, taking his property back. The recipient says, no, this was a matnas bari, and therefore again the gift stands no matter what. So it comes before Rav Nachman. What happened? So the Gemara says, Shadre l'kamed Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba l'shum tamya. So Rav Nachman sent the case. He kicked it over to Rabbi Yirmiyah bar Abba, who lived in a place called Shum Tamya. Okay, so Rav Nachman went ahead and sent it over to Rabbi Yirmiyah. Why is that? Now let's listen to this. This is incredible. Amar hacha asra de Shmuel hechi navid kavase de Rav. So this is beautiful. Rav Nachman said Shmuel was the mar de asra of Narda. So Rav Nachman, it's fascinating. Rav Nachman, knowing that halacha l'maisa, we really follow Rav, but yet felt that he could not paskin against Shmuel, the mar de asra of Narda, in Narda. So therefore, what does he do? He essentially moves it to a different court. He moves it to a different Beis Din. Sends it to Rabbi Yirmiyah in Shum Tamya. Rabbi Yirmiyah could pass in the halacha according to Rav. Okay, so we'll say, so what happened? Fine, that's it. That's the end of the story. That just shows that even in Narda, which was the locale of Shmuel, they understood that in reality the halacha followed Rav. Again, out of deference to Shmuel, in Shmuel's makom, they couldn't pass in that way, but the halacha follows Rav. Beautiful. Next, the Rava. So listen to this. There was a case that came before Rava. So we'll say, so again, same thing like we saw before, same case, right? Matna Shchimira, or a Shchimira is giving a gift, and in the gift he wrote, B'chaim u'b'maves. Now, interestingly enough, in this case, there's a little bit of a difference over here. It didn't say B'chaim u'b'maves, instead it said, Mechaim u'b'maves. Now, remember again, According to Rava, if it says Mechaim, he holds is really a matnas bari. It's not a matnas shchimira. Rava makes this distinction between Bechaim and Mechaim. Okay, so watch this. Sahih dasei lekamei de Rava. Ava le Rava kishmaite. So there was a case that came before Rava, and Rava paskind like his own ruling. Take a look at the Rashbam. The Rashbam says over here, kishmaite. Kishmaite, good. Dahava ksiv be mechaim vikana balashtar. I'm sorry, vikana balashtar vaishev sida. Okay, so just to give you the context over here. So what happened? So the situation over here was that someone had written a document, and in the document it said mechaim ubemisa. Rav paskins that in the case Rava paskins that in the case of mechaim he treats that like a matnas bari, right? Rava said iksiba mechaim kana. So what happened? So the woman was bringing this shtar to Rava. She had apparently again lost the property as a result, ultimately, of the wording in this shtar. So what happened? So Rava went ahead and paskined according to his ruling, right? That mechaim ultimately makes it like a matnas bari. Hava katir delay. This woman was bothering him. She didn't like his psak. Take a look at the Rashbam. Katar de Lomar lo yafet dantani. This is interesting. So the woman in question did not like the way that Rava paskin, and she kept chappering him that you're not paskining the right way. So what happened is incredible. Amrli Rav Papa Brei, Rav Chanan Safrei. So what happened? So now Rava had to write up his psak halacha. So Rava says to Rav Papa, the son of Rav Chanan, who was the scribe of Rava, Zil Kasavla. Now you have to write up the din Torah. The kasav ba socher alehen omitan. Okay, so I say, so now what happened? Rava paskind a particular way in this case that this particular situation was a matnas bari. Right? Because again, he held that mechaim was a healthy person's gift and not a matnas shemira. So the woman who ended up losing property was very upset with this psak. So what happens? So Rava went ahead and wrote up the din Torah. Now, in this, what he did was, in order to get this woman off his back, so he went ahead and he wrote up the shtar in such a way that made it look like she won the case, right? That she got a favorable verdict. In the end of the shtar, he included this lashon of socher alehen. You could hire extra workers, or mitan, or you could deceive them. They're both saying, now what does that phrase have to do with anything? So the answer is nothing. So why is it here? So there's an interesting halacha. Actually, if you take a look at the Rashbam says, Amar le Safrei Zil Kasavla Shadin Ima. So he said to his scribe, okay, do me a favor, write up the shtar that says that she won the case, right? The psak is like her. The Kasav Asaf Hashtar, and go ahead and write at the end of the document, Mishnah Hashanui Bab Metzia, Basochra Somnin, Sochra Le'en Omitan. But say, what's the case here? It's actually a very interesting case. If I hire workers and they walk off the job, leaving me, with no one to finish the job, the halacha is I could promise them a higher wage and lie to them. I could lie to them, right? Or I can go ahead and hire additional workers and make the guys who walk off the job pay for it. In other words, since they committed to something and they walked away, I could deceive them in order to get them to finish up the job. I could say, okay guys, it's another 20% for you, and then when they do the job, I don't have to pay them. So Rava included this lashon in the shtar. I'm just reading the rest of the Rashbam. V'simin haya b'soch hashtar shelitchos ha'isha lat'osa niskavein lipater mimachlakosa v'hi hevina b'dvarim v'kilaso. So what happened? So it's fascinating. So Rava writes this at the end of the shtar. So what he does is, this woman is chappering him. She doesn't like the way he paskin. So he wrote a shtar indicating that she was right. In the end of the shtar, he wrote, and by the way, you could hire additional workers or deceive the workers that you have. So he understood that what's going to happen, if another Beis Din sees this shtar, they're going to realize, okay, there's something weird about this. And obviously, Rava wrote this because this lady was the shtickle unhinged, and he just had to get her out. So he wrote this lashon in the shtar. So the Gemara says, so what happened? But fascinatingly enough, he thought this particular woman would not catch on to what he was doing. But it turns out that she did. So what happened? So the Gemara says, Amra, so she realized what he was doing. Amra, she cursed him. Litaba arbe. Atuye kamitasli. So she said to Rava, your boat should sink. Your boat should sink. Do you think that you could deceive me? So as you see now, of course, Rava kind of made it worse, right? Up until now, she was just upset about the psak halacha. Now she's upset because she feels he's actively trying to deceive her. So therefore, she cursed him, and she said, your boat should sink. Your boat should sink. It's not a metaphor, it's quite literal. Your boat, right? Rava had possessions. Your boat should sink because you tried to. Do you think that I don't know what you're doing? Like the Rashbam says, your boat should sink. Do you think I don't know that you're deceiving me? So the Gemara says, so what happened? So Rava's Talmidim heard this. Amshinu lemani de Rava b'maya. So what do? They quickly took Rava's clothing and they soaked it in water, hoping that maybe again the klala of the curse would devolve upon that. Obviously, when a person's boat sinks, so the clothing becomes wet, maybe if they just take the clothing and they sink it, there's like a kiyum of the curse right there. But the Gemara says, "Va'afilu hachi lo ifrak mitriya." Shiro will say, what happened? Rava's boat sank. Rava's boat sank. If you take a look at the Rashbam says over here, Lo isbrak me onshe. Rashbam says, the alti. So I'm sorry. This actually the Gemara doesn't have this expression, right? The Gemara ends over here, Va'afilu hachi lo ifrak mitiva. Nevertheless, Rava was not spared from the sinking of his boat. His boat sank. Now, if you look at the Rashbam, interestingly enough, the Rashbam, about 6 lines up, has the Divrei HaMaschil over here. Lo isparak me onsha. Rava was not spared from punishment. The Gemara says, why? Da'alti killas hedyot kala be'inecha. Do not allow the curse, even of a simple person, to go ahead and be taken lightly in your eyes. This is incredible, right? This woman, by the way, who from the perspective of the Gemara, was behaving unreasonably. Right? Rava gave her the psak. She came to the basin. He gave her the psak. You know, like the psak, that's life. That's life, right? But she got the psak, but she wouldn't stop. He deceived her. Or tried to deceive her with this shtar. Again, in Rava's defense, he's trying to take. There's a lot of lessons in this. But okay, so let's finish Rashbam. So Rashbam says, but she cursed him. What do you see from here? Number one, what you see from here is, don't allow the curse of a simple person to be taken lightly in your eyes. The curse of another Jew, right? Angering another Jew, upsetting another Jew to the point that they curse you is a serious thing. Now the Rashbam also says, Umei hasham inan te bein chayim bein mesim simna lechayim. I was saying, interestingly enough, the Gemara wants to suggest from this story, ultimately again, bein chayim or mechayim, ultimately again is a siman of a matnas bari. Now, obviously, that's not how we paskin, right? We paskin like Rav, that whether it's bechayim or mechayim, halacha l'maisa, it is considered to be a matnas shchimera. Okay, interesting aside. So I'll say that's the end of the story. What's the Musar Haskell from this story? What exactly is the Musar Haskell? So the Rashbam says the Musar Haskell from this story is that halacha l'maisa, don't take the curse of even a simple person lightly, right? Don't take the curse, which is incredible, which is profound. The power of a Jew. I will say now, this is the power of a Jew when a Jew gets angry, right? Can you imagine the power of a Jew when a Jew is happy, right? Because whatever koach you have, because you have 10 times more koach when you are besimcha. And I want to say, but there's another important lesson in this, and it is the importance of dealing with problems head on. What's happening over here? Rava is trying to circumvent the issue, right? Rava is saying, let me just get this out. Right? I don't want to deal with this. See here, okay, I'm going to tell you whatever you need to say. I'll put in a little fine print on the bottom of the document. No one else pays attention to fine print except for lawyers and dayanim, right? So she's going to be happy thinking that she got the psak that she wanted. But then when she comes to collect, the basin's going to see it and realize, it's not a document of collection. What should Rava have done? Rava should have engaged. Rava will say, no one ever solves their interpersonal problems by skirting them. No one ever solves their interpersonal problems by pretending they don't exist or by wishing them away. If you have challenges with other people in life, the only way to deal with them is to deal with them. They will not change unless they are confronted. Sometimes even if they're confronted, they won't change. That's possible also. But one thing is clear is, if you never confront it, it certainly does not change. If maybe you confront it, it has the possibility to change. Such a profound Musar. Let's go weiter. Says the Mishnah. So much in these Gemaras, so much. Mishnah, lo kasa b'shchimira. All right, so there's a really interesting case over here. So let's say again, in general, the way it would work would be as follows. A matna shchimira. So remember again, and this is interesting, like tension that we have over here, which is that on one hand, a matna shchimira. Okay, we have fine. Just the way that I'm, just final word on this previous sugya. Ramam hilchos zechiya matana perek ches halacha yutes hanosing matana kishu shchimira v'kasav ba bechayim ubemaves or mechayim ubemaves, whichever lashon you use, right? Bechayim maves, mechayim maves. The Rashbam says, hawil v'kasav ba ubemaves hare zu matnas shchimira. So we'll say that's how you pass in, like Rava, as long as there is a mention of death, then halacha l'maisa makes it a matnas shchimira. What do you do about the expression of life? The Rambam says, v'zeh shekasaba mechayim simin liyashiv es daito sheyichya mechalizeh. So how does he put mechayim in there? Again, it's a tefillah. It's a way of hoping, making himself feel a little bit better. That there was always the hope. There was always the possibility. Ultimately, again, of a refuah shalema. Incredible power of hope. Mishnah. Now, both say. So remember again. Let's come back to Mishnah now. Matna shchimira does not require a document, right? Matna shchimira typically requires words. When you are writing a document that we call name of a shchimira, right? The name of a deathbed will is called a good daitiki, right? Excellent. Boker tov, right? So it's right. It's called a daitiki. So remember again. So halacha l'maisa. So there is a way that was written. There was a certain verbiage that was used for that, which would indicate that this was being written by a shchimira. Let's say the document makes no mention that the giver is a shchimira. He makes absolutely no mention of it. Just doesn't say anything about it. So lo kasa b'shchimira. Now take a look at the Rashbam for just a moment. It's about 6 lines up from the bottom. Lo kasav b'shchimira dikidikatzia v'rami ba'arse v'gam lashon matan asbar lo kasav lo nechta ba. So listen to this. Normally, a matna shchimira, if you were writing in a document, they would say shchimira when he was in his bed, right? So the kidikatzia v'rami ba'arse, when he was sick and in bed, Shchimira wrote the following gift to Ruvain. So the document itself would make mention that the giver is a Shchimira. Conversely, if you are writing stam a gift to someone, the document would also mention, interesting enough, the document would also mention, Kad mahalech al ragloi b'shuka, right? When the giver was walking on his own 2 feet in the shuk, he said over, I want to give over this property to Ruvain. So it's interesting, by the way, how, again, contemporarily, you don't find this in our modern day documents, right? Modern day documents don't seem to make any mention, I don't think, any mention of the particular state of mind or state of being of the individual. Right, I guess you could say when so-and-so was of clear mind, they executed this particular document. But Lamaisa, these documents were a little bit more specific. So Matna Shchimira would say, Shchimira was dying in bed or was sick in bed. If it was a Matnas Bari, giver was walking in the shuk and he said he wanted to give this to Ruvain. So now you have a document that doesn't make any mention about this well-being, right, the state of the giver. Okay, now we'll say, here we go. So who Omer Shchimira Yisi? So the guy, the giver, we'll call him the giver, the grantor, is that the right word? Grantor, giver? Giver, right? The giver says, I was a shchimira. Now let's say, now remember, what is his state of being right now? When this is happening in Beis, what's happening over here? The giver, Baruch Hashem, is feeling great. Full refuah shalema. So giver says this was a matna shchimira, and now Baruch Hashem I'm fine, which means the gift is void. Veheino omrim bari hayisa. The other guys, the recipients, say no, you weren't a shchimira. You were totally healthy when you made this gift, and therefore again this is a matnas bari. We're so happy you're feeling great until 120, but the gift was a gift, and you have no right to take it back from us. So what's the halacha? So this is interesting. So Meir says that the burden of proof is upon the giver, right? That the giver has to prove that he was a shchimira at the time of the gift. Okay, the Chacham say no. No, that's not true. We'll say, remember again, who is in possession of the property? Who is in possession of the gifted property? Right, the giver. The giver. So the Chum say now the recipient wants to say that this guy, the giver, was in fact healthy at the time of the gift. So the burden of proof is upon them. The burden of proof is always upon the extractor, right? The one who is muhsak, the one who holds the property, he's the presumed owner. You want to extract it, the burden of proof is upon the extractor. So it's in the Chum. Incredible. Gemara tells us, sorry, who matanasa tavakasa beikad tavakasa v'ramim say v'lo kasav ba umigo mare iftar lebes v'lo kasav ba umigo mare iftar lebes ome. Okay, so we'll say. So this is very interesting. So there once was a shchimira. Once upon a time there was a shchimira. And the shchimira gifted property to the recipient. Okay? Now in the document, it said the Lashon, shchimira was in his bed very ill. Now apparently, what would normally happen after in the Matna Shchimira is fascinating, right? So shchimira would write the gift to Ruvain. Now again, remember, when does the gift take effect? When does it take effect? When Shchimira dies. So what would often happen is Shchimira obviously would entrust this document to someone, right? Because someone needs to execute the gift after the death of Shchimira. What would normally happen is after the death of Shchimira, they would go ahead and they would put in an additional note. What was the note? And on the 24th of Cheshvan, Shchimira passed away. Right? They would put in like a little asterisk and indicate Shchimira died, which makes sense, right? Because you want to have that appendix in the document, because remember the matana only really takes effect if Shchimira actually dies. So you want to have some actual documental proof that the Shchimira died. So in this document it says Shchimira is on his deathbed, but it never lo kasav ba umigo mare iftar lebeis almiyah. But it never said in there that halacha l'maisa that he died. So what do you do with such a document like this? We'll say Amud Beis. So Amar Rabba says, well, what's the shaila? Hare meis v'hare kivra mochiach halav. Well, you don't really need anything written in a document. You can just go to his kever, or the guy's dead. The guy's dead, right? There's a grave, there's a tombstone, right? It's all there. It's all there. So I understand. Normally, you would write this into this document, and in fact, if you look at the last Rashbam, the Rashbam says in a previous Amud, "Kacha yirgin lichtov matna shchimira hanichtavos la'achar misason lo'odia shanechasim halalu nisunim lezem akabel b'tzav shchimira." So again, first of all, this is just fascinating. We've been doing shchimira. I feel like we've been doing shchimira for years, right? But Lamaisa, it's fascinating just to see how this actually worked, even though you don't need a document. When a document was used, it was executed in a particular way. So first of all, it would say Shchimira was dying in his bed, was on his deathbed, and he gifted this property to so-and-so, and then after he died, it was common to just append, and he died on the 24th of Cheshvan, Tav Shin Pei Hey. Now, if you didn't write it, if you didn't write about his death, what's the status? Rabbi says, what's the big deal? You know that he's dead. You can go to his kever. Amalei Abaye, so listen to this, it says it's incredible. Abaye says like this, Hashta, umasfina, sheruban la'avad, nostalen, chumrei chaim, v'chumrei meisim. So Abaye says like this, one second, hold up here. Let's say you have a group of people on a boat. The boat sinks. And Rahman al-Islam, we don't know, did the people on board die or not die? Now the truth is, this is a much more complicated sugya of ma'im sheyesh lahem sof, ma'im she'ein lahem sof, right? What type of body of water are they lost in? Is it a body of water where you can see the banks of the water around it? Not. But again, without getting into all the technicalities over here, if the boat sinks and we don't know if the people on board died or not, what do? We apply specifically to their relatives the chumras if they're alive and if they're dead. And I will say this could have a number of different ramifications for Yibum, for Chalitza. If let's say again one of the guys on the boat was a Kohen and his wife is a non-Kohen, came from a Yisrael family, could she eat Truma? Can't she eat Truma? The point over here is when people are lost at sea, we give them the chumras of people who are alive and people who are dead. Now watch this. So the Gemara says, Cholin, Sharov Cholin L'chaim. So first of all, this is such a fascinating statement. Illness, where we assume that most people recover from illness. Oh, so fascinating. So that's especially Bismillah Gemara. I don't know that I would have assumed that was true, but apparently that was the truth. Most people recover from life-threatening illness. Lakosh came. There was this. What is Abai saying over here? What Abai is saying is like this. If people sink at sea, we give them the chumras of being alive and dead. And that's what I'm saying. That's taking under the assumption that what? Most people whose boat capsize, what happens to them? They die. They die. But yet we still give them the chumras, the stringencies, if they're alive and if they're dead. So certainly when it comes to illness, where most people recover from illness, we certainly should give the people, the sick person, the chumras of being alive and dead. Now what does that mean for our case? In our case, what do we have? Shchimira was on his deathbed. He gave away property to Ruvain, right? And in the document it said, I'm a shchimira on my deathbed dying. The problem is, it never has the follow-up phrase that says, on the 24th of Cheshvan, he died. He died. So what do we have to be concerned about? But so Rabbi says, I don't say, what's the kasha? Go to his kever. He has a grave. The guy died. The guy died, right? It's clear that he died. So what's the shaila? I will say, what's our shaila? Our shaila is, did he recover in the interim? That's our shaila. Because let's play this out for just a second, right? Shchiv mirah, the gift is only valid if he died from that illness. But if he recovered and then subsequently died, in other words, I got it, I know that he's dead. Maybe he recovered and got hit by a bus. It's bad luck, right? In other words, Lamaisa again, I know that he's dead now, but who's to say that he died as a result of his illness? And I will say that's very important. Just because he's dead now doesn't mean that the gift is a valid gift. The fact that he's dead now, what does that tell me? That he's dead, right? That's what it tells me. What it doesn't tell me is that he died of that illness. See, if he recovered and then died of something else, it's not a matna shchivnira. So it's a matna shchivnira as if he died dafka of that illness. So without that extra phrase in the document, even though again I know that he's dead, that doesn't know it's a matna shchivnira. Incredible. So the Gemara says as follows: Amar Rav Huna bar Rav Yoshua kiman azla ha. Shmaita de Rabba. So I'll say, who is Rabba right now? Now, obviously, Rabba feels that the existence of a grave, right, is enough. Right? Rabba feels the fact that I know that he was a shchimira, and now I know that he's dead, I can just connect those dots and to say that he died as a result of the illness and he's a shchimira. And therefore, the matana is a good matana, even though we never had the additional phraseology written into the document. Whose opinion does this reflect? Rabbi said, this is Rabbi Nassim. Here we go. This is great. Let's start this today. This is Sanya. This is great. Mi motzi miyad mi. Who has the ability to extract from who? Look at the Rashbam. Mi motzi miyad mi. Matana she'en kasav ba lo lasha matnas bari lo lasha matnas shchemira ki masnisin ze omer bari hayisa ze omer shchemira hayisa. Suppose this is the case of our Mishnah. Right? So what happens? So there's a document, and in the document it says that giver gave to Ruvain. We'll just call him giver for now because giver gave to Ruvain. What's the issue? Giver says it was a matnas shchemira, but Baruch Hashem recovered. Therefore, the gift is not a gift. Ruvain says you were totally healthy at the time of the gift, and therefore this is a matnas bari, and therefore you owe me the gift. So who has the ability to extract from who? So the Gemara says, "Who motzi miyadein below raya? Behein ein motzi miyado ela beraya div Rabbi Yaakov." So we'll say, so Rabbi Yaakov essentially says the law is on the side of the giver, right? The giver has the ability to literally keep the gift, and they don't have the ability to extract it from him, unless, of course, they could produce proof that he was in fact healthy at the time of the gift. It's Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Nassim says no. Im barihu alav lahavi raya shechimira. Im shchimirahu alein lahavi raya. Oh, I will say this is incredible. Rabbi Nassim says, listen to this. Rabbi Nassim says, everything depends on how the situation presents itself in front of us now. If the giver is currently healthy, he's bari, the burden of proof is upon him to show that he was a shchivmira at the time of the gift. At the time of the gift. If giver is currently a shchivmira, then the burden of proof is upon Ruvain to show that giver was a bari at the time of the gift. In other words, what does Rabbi Nassim say? Rabbi Nassim says, we assume that the reality that exists now is the same reality that existed at the time that the gift was made. So whatever reality presents itself in front of us right in this moment, that's what we assume to be the reality. So therefore, Rabbi said, let's take this full way back. So therefore, going back, this is where Rabbi gets it from. So Rabbi says like this. Giver, right, Shchivmira wrote a document conveying property to Ruvain, and in the document it says that Lamaisa, I'm a Shchivmira, and I'm dying, I'm giving to Ruvain, but it never has the follow-up documentation that says Shchivmira died on the 24th of Cheshvan. It's missing that. So now, what do you do with that? So Rabbi says, who cares? There's a grave. there's a grave. And Rabbi says the fact that he's dead now indicates to us that what? He died of his illness. He's a shchimira, because Rabbi holds like Rabbi Nassan. And Rabbi Nassan holds that what you see in front of you at this present moment dictates that that was the reality up until this point. And if you want to change the current reality, say that past reality was different than current reality, the burden of proof is upon the one who wants to change the facts as they present themselves now. But let's stop over here for today. We're going to pick up, this is a great machlokes. So Meretz Hashem, we'll pick this up tomorrow with resolution. I know we're a couple of lines short of the 2 dots, but okay. Pick it up tomorrow. Shkayach, everyone. Have a great day. Great day, Jack. Good to see you. All right, Chaim on Zoom. Have a wonderful day, everyone.